Okay, hello everybody. This will be a video I'll be putting out um, in the next 24 to 36 hours. Um, I've been missing in action uh, because I got banned on YouTube. um, After my last video, um, I did another video. I made another video that I was going to post the next day, and then after that, a little bit later, I decided I wanted to do a live stream and just hang out and listen to some music because I was actually kind of feeling crappy because that was last video that I posted was kind of emotional. Um, so I was needing to just listen to some music, and I was like, well, I'll do it with everybody, anybody who comes in the stream. Of course, it was like 2 in the morning, so I figured no one was really gonna come in anyway, and I didn't announce it on my Discord like I have some of the other live streams or the other ones. I just kind of just started doing it, but the third song in, I got kicked off, and then got a notification um, that I had committed a copyright infringement. And so, because I had already had the one warning, that was now a strike. And the punishment for one strike is 7 days banned from being able to post anything. Now, I was still able to view videos and leave comments on people's videos during that time, but I wasn't able to do any live streaming or uploading any videos, which I was like, okay, well, it's no big deal. I can make a bunch of videos during that time and then just have them ready. But I actually never did any of that. I just didn't have the vibe going on. Um, so the extra stress of the official, I guess, the official diagnosis of my husband, and then just some other stuff that's been going on, kind of stressed me out. And I was going to bed. Well, I was going to bed at normal time, but what uh, I need to do when it comes to making videos is do them in the middle of the night after everybody goes to bed, so that they're not making noise. And by the time everybody went to bed and the TV was turned off and everything, all that, I I didn't feel like doing them. I was tired and I wanted to go to bed myself. So I was doing that, and I wasn't getting any videos made. Uh, so I have one more day of the ban, which is, I'm not sure exactly how many hours. Probably 24 to 36. I don't know if it ends at midnight tomorrow. Um, or what. So right now it's just telling me I have one day left. So I don't know if it'll do like an hourly countdown once it gets past, under 24 hours. It gives you the hourly countdown or not. Uh, so that's where I've been at, and I didn't get to post any videos like I was going to and had planned and had talked about in that video. Um, so anyway, so I'm gonna have to really adjust my thinking on doing videos with the music, which is really hard for me because I really love music, and I just love listening to music all the time. That's how I my top three of dealing with stress and coping with my stress is I just listen to music, and then plus I'm also trying to do this thing where I'm trying to dance the weight off. So that's going better because I'm listening to a lot more music, and that's the one playlist on my channel. It's titled "Time to Dance." It's basically a playlist for me that is upbeat songs that I like dancing to, and or at least just you know or moving, getting moving. The whole point is to exercise, so it's not necessarily about dancing. It's just about moving your body and getting different body parts moving in different directions, and trying to work every muscle, and work every muscle group, and in different directions, so that you're um, getting that done. And that's what that's for. And I'm wanting to do something like a live stream where we like basically have like a dance party, and it's all about exercise. So basically, I would be the next Richard Simmons. um, uh, so, um, but with all this copyright stuff, it's not as easy an endeavor as I would like it to be. So I'm trying to figure out some ways to do it, to instead of running around and trying to get all the permission. I guess that's too. I don't want to do that work. It's like right now that playlist has like 51 songs on it. So and I keep adding stuff, adding. There's like 4 hours worth of music on that one. So so for me to run around for, and that's just the one playlist, for me to try to get the permission for all those songs. Um, right now, I just don't have the willpower to do that. Um, and it just it kind of invokes a I want to say, I want to call it a pet peeve, but an opinion of mine, where I don't think that the music, any artwork, anything you do, you paint a picture, you do a sculpture, pottery, whatever, anything, it none of that belongs to us humans. That it all belongs to the Lord Jesus Christ. We're just the vessel that He's using to make those things. So for us to come in and then try to make stipulations about who can use it, or who can see it, or what it's used for, or put a price tag on it, um, uh, it for me it's really hard for me to do that. I'm I'm on a different planet. I understand that I'm on a different planet when it comes to thinking, and I do artwork myself. So it's not like I'm on the outside looking in. I've written some songs and I've actually posted them online. I used to be a part of a blog site years ago, and there are some songs I wrote and I put them on my blog site. Um, for anybody to read and see and use, and I don't care if they take the words and they use them, that's fine. I'm just glad they're getting, if they put them to music, I'm just glad that it's being sung. um so that's not the talent I have. I don't have the talent of necessarily writing music, even though some of them might have a tune that I did have put to on some of my songs. um uh so of course I don't know if you'll be able to access any of those songs now, because that blog site shut down years ago. So I don't, where are they now? Somewhere, I don't know. um and I don't remember some of them. Unfortunately, a few years ago when I was in the middle of my nervous breakdown, I went through my filing cabinet and threw a bunch of stuff out. So I threw a lot of my songs out. I was pissed at life and was like hopeless, and I was like, oh, I don't need these. Um, so now I regret doing that. So I'm trying to remember the words, but that's how it is, I guess. Um, anyway, so I should be starting back to posting stuff. I got one video already that I did, and then I got this one. So I'll post this one first. Um, basically, the update of like, hey, I'm back. Sorry, I went missing. Um, I broke the rules and got in trouble. So all those people from my high school whoever find me, if they do, they can be happy because, I never broke the rules in high school, never got sent to the principal's office, that type of stuff. So, so now I broke the rules and got in trouble. Um, I have gotten a couple speeding tickets in my life, so um, and I've sped and now got a ticket. So I mean, it's not like I got away. Well, I did get away with it, but I shouldn't have. So, um, but yeah, I've been pretty much a um, non-rule breaker, I guess, most of my life. I think a lot of that is the autism because with autism uh, you give a rule or you say, oh, this is supposed to go here on this shelf. Well, you tell an autistic person that, well, that's where it goes from then on. And if someone puts it someplace else, it's like, that doesn't go there. So it's this rigid thinking that we can have, um, and it can be very hard to change that and get out of that and to change our thinking when things need to change. And there is a transition period that autistic people need to work best, to get to have us function the best that we can. I mean, life is not perfect, and we don't always get that. Um, Things happen unexpectedly, but being interrupted and having change is can be very hard for us. Um, and that's something I've learned now, and would have been nice to know that all these years raising kids, but um, didn't find out till after 50, until I was in my 50s. Which I do. That was the other video I did was explaining some of the thought patterns that I came up with. That how I'm seeing how my brain works on different levels and different situations. Um, so that check that video out when I did post that one. Um, anyway, I guess I kind of wanted to address some issues or just some stuff that I don't know what people want to deal with. Like, I know a lot of people like they don't want to say something like something will irritate them about somebody, but they don't want to be rude or they don't want to hurt their feelings, so they don't say anything. But for me, I'd rather you say something. Like if there's something I'm doing that's irritating, like maybe you don't like me brushing my hair right now. Okay, fine, say it. At the very least, you can leave a comment. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was so irritating watching you brush your hair. At least you got it out, and you're not holding it in. Now, once I see your comment, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it because I'm going to pre-record this video. But at least in saying that, you get it out, you don't hold it in, and that's important for your own health. And my hair does need to be brushed. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm wanting people to be honest in the comment section. I don't want you to be rude, like outright rude where you're attacking people. That's what I don't want, and I'm not gonna tolerate that. But if but you can be honest with if there's something you don't like um or whatever. If what I'm saying and you have a different opinion, like, well, I didn't really agree with what you said, and fine, yeah, that's what the comment section is about. Let's discuss it. Um, and it's whenever you see this video, even if it's like 10 years from now, the conversation's still going. I mean, unless I take the video down, then the conversation's still going. So, you can give your opinion anytime. have the discussion anytime. Um, Another thing that might be irritating for people that I might be doing, and until I get my teeth fixed, I don't really care. Sorry, but I use two things on my teeth, and my teeth are broken. A lot of it I started back in my 20s when I got out on my own, and I was an official adult, and I made some bad decisions because hey, I could do whatever I want now. I'm an adult. Well, now I'm reaping a lot of those, reaping the consequences of that decisions. Now I did get a lot of fillings as a kid. I don't know really why. I mean, I didn't really eat a lot of candy. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know why, but I had gotten started getting fillings in my teeth when I was in elementary, and pretty much all my teeth had fillings by the time I was in my 20s. And then I made some bad decisions being an adult and taking advantage of being an adult and be able to do what I want or not want. And now I have all these dental issues. And I did have noticed that when I listened to some of my videos, um, I wouldn't say it's a lisp, but I think it's because I'm missing like 6 teeth. So sometimes when I'm talking, my pronunciation um, is being affected by my missing teeth. Um, One of these days, if I can get it done, is I think I just need to get everything taken out and just get dentures. Um, I haven't taken the plunge yet for, well, one, finances, but two, it's hard. You have to prepare yourself because even with broken teeth, they're still, because they're in your jawbone and everything. There's certain sensations that you have when you're chewing, so your brain registers that. And when you take all your teeth out and get dentures, then your brain has to readjust to the filling because now you have the dentures and not the your teeth in your jawbone, and it's a whole different sensation. So your brain, there's a transition stage which is like 6 months or something, maybe even a year. I guess probably depending on the person, that your brain has to switch over to the new sensations. And I haven't want to do that up until now because I've just been dealing with so much crap in my life uh, all these years that I'm like, yeah, I don't have the willpower to try to go through that transition stage. And it can be painful because they're removing teeth, and so they're cutting into your gums, and they have to take everything out. So you got to those have to heal, those wounds from having your teeth pulled. So there's a you're having to heal for that. Then they're wanting to do the dentures, which a lot of offices want to fit you right away, but it's also, when watching videos on YouTube on it, uh, some people recommend that you wait a few weeks before you get your first set of dentures, to let everything heal and your gums retract. So you give your time for your gums to retract, because if you do it too soon, then they have to refit the dentures, because once your gums retract, then the dentures don't fit properly. So if you wait and let all that do that, and then get your first set of dentures, then there's certain obstacles and things you don't have to deal with. Of course, that's like a several week process. So like probably like 3 to 6 weeks maybe, even 2 months. So then, if you've got all your teeth removed, then you're going to have trouble talking and then eating, and so there's this whole process that you have to go through. And I haven't been willing to do that until just this calendar year that I'm now going, oh yeah, maybe I can do it and try to get, because I really need to get my teeth fixed and taken care of because I can't clean them properly because everything gets stuck in there. And then I use these. I got the floss picks, and then these are like has like some Listerine, like a little ball of Listerine in here. It's like a little brush, and it pops that little bubble and lets the Listerine out, and at least gives you freshen that. And you got the pick on the other side. The one thing I really loved that they had a few years, that Oral-B had a few years ago, but I guess I was the only one on the planet who liked the product because they don't sell it anymore, and that was these little finger sleeves um, that were like bumpy on one side. You slip them over your finger, and it was bumpy on one side, and it also had like the Listerine infused in it, so you slip it over your finger and then just stick your finger in your mouth and like basically brush your teeth with your finger. I thought it was great, but I guess most people here in the United States were like, yeah, that's stupid, that's gross, I don't know, whatever they were thinking, they didn't like it. So that was a bust for Oral-B. But and if I had known they were going to discontinue it, I probably would have ran around and bought all the boxes of it off the shelf before they discontinued it. But I didn't know they were, so oh well. Um, so I'm always having to like use these floss picks and stuff on my teeth because the food gets stuck in there, and it's irritating. I try to like choose things to eat that are easier, that's soft. Eating meats, really chewing meats really hard right now. So so yeah, a lot of times I have to like make a separate, like make my food separate from everybody else because I don't like what's being made because I'm not going to be able to chew it, or I want mine cut up in like small pieces. And my husband likes to have, a lot of times he likes his food in chunks, like big chunks. So you know like ground beef, he likes to have like really big chunks in there in the food, and I like mine broken down, like way broken down. So a lot of times, like make stuff with that, I'll make my own separate, so I can break it down more the meat. Um, um, but what else would I like to say? Um, I don't know. Um, we have 2 dogs, 2 cats. I don't know. 4 kids, all in their 20s. One has left the nest. Got 3 still at home. um, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess that's it. I don't know. I can't think of anything to say. Um, I guess if anybody has any questions, leave them in the comment section. Uh, Still trying to get the word out of my channel, but I actually don't really want a whole lot because it gets too much, especially if I'm doing a live stream and you get the chat going. Some of these people, I go join their live stream and they've got like hundreds of people in there. Oh my gosh, and the chat is just crazy. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just going so fast because everybody's making comments. And it's a little overwhelming for me. I mean, some of that I'm like, what's the point of making a comment? Because it just goes straight up and no, I mean, you can't even see it. So I don't know. And they even put it on slow-mo, and it's like, I don't know, whatever. I'm a small group type person. I'm not a big crowds person. That's also an autistic trait. I don't like big crowds. I always hated going to the mall. I didn't mind going to the amusement park though. But of course, when there's not as many people there and you don't have to stand in line for 2 hours for a ride, I mean, it's always nice when you can just go. You know, you're in line for 20 minutes or less. Um, my husband, with my husband's disability, we now get to go straight to the front line. I mean, several years ago, we went to, we got season tickets for SeaWorld, and so we went there, and they have the this one that we have in our city. I don't know about the other ones, but they have some roller coasters in the park too, and and now the kids had to go stand in line, but my husband was able to go straight to the line, and then he could bring one caregiver. Basically, it was like one caregiver, so I got to go with him too. So we went straight to the front of the line, um, and I guess I don't know. Probably neither one of us probably should have been riding the roller coaster. But yeah, it's like you only live once, and it wasn't that bad of a ride. But it was really actually fun. I screamed my head off, and it was it was so therapeutic, just screaming as loud as I could, even though I wasn't scared. I just wanted to scream, just to relieve stress, and it worked. It really did. I felt a lot better after I got off that ride, and just still working at Wally World back then. That place is, oh gosh, so stressful. And it's not the customers. It's not the customers that are really the stressful part. Um, uh, so I would recommend that, a roller coaster every once in a while, and scream just for the sake of screaming, even if you're not scared. Um, um, my husband won tickets to SeaWorld one time. So that's a story in itself. They were having a contest. Um, Not to give out too much information, but they were making a movie here in the city I live, and so there's an actress that was playing in the movie, and the DJ on the radio had a contest for whoever could call in with the funniest fake sighting of this celebrity. They would win a prize. So my husband, he does this silly voice, and so he called in that voice, and did this whole scenario about seeing this actress and what this character would be saying and everything. It was pretty funny. I don't remember all of it. I didn't actually hear it, but he was telling about it later. And he actually won. The DJ was laughing his head off, and he actually won tickets. Now, the prize was supposed to be tickets to see Britney Spears, but we were in our 30s at the time with kids, small kids, and we're like, yeah, we're not gonna go see Britney Spears. So he just talked to him and said, hey, is there anything else you can give us? Because it's like, that's not our thing. And they're like, you know what, we'll see what we can do. And they actually sent us SeaWorld tickets, and then they sent us tickets for two different water parks. And so we took the kids to the one water park, and the other water park tickets he actually gave to a coworker that his family were going to go to the other one. And he's like, well, hey, I got tickets. I want tickets. You want them? He's like, sure. So he gave those away. Um, because we figured we probably weren't gonna go be able to use them anyway. There was only so much we could do with the kids financially and stuff. Even with getting free tickets, it's still you gotta eat and pay for gas to get to the park and all that stuff. So, but it's a little family story there. So my husband won tickets by doing a voice on the radio. um, and we got to take the kids to all the parks. So that was some nice way to make some memories. Um, I don't know how long has this video been going on. 30 minutes. I don't know how long it should be. I mean, sometimes people can last a long time. Sometimes they can't. I know I've had my time where I was like, the longer the better. But when I was in my nervous breakdown, I was watching YouTube videos like like 15 hours a day, and like was in bed the other 10. I was watching gamers the whole time. Uh, so when they were doing these live streams and they're doing it like all day for like 8 hours, I was all happy because it it was helping me to cope and make it through my day. It was a distraction. It kept me going. Um, and there's a few gamers out there that I had my regulars, and they have no idea how they helped me through that time in my life. I'm so appreciative of them, and they have no idea that they were helping to keep me alive. They literally would have keep me alive, because I could just sit there and watch them for hours. Uh, Maybe one day I'll get to tell them all. I'm hoping to, as if I get to do the gaming that I want to do, um, I'll be able to get to tell them one day. So you just never know, and people, down these people like, oh, you're gonna just play on the computer all day and play games all day. Why don't you get a real job? Well, you know what? Some of those people actually they saved my life, so I'm glad they weren't working, and I'm glad that they were online for all that time. Some of those people were doing it because they were in between jobs because it was during the pandemic and crap was hitting the fan and people were losing jobs and were in lockdown and all that stuff. Um, and then some of the people, hey, they're out of the work world because of disabilities or whatever, and they've been taken out of the work world, so they're like, well, what am I gonna do all day? And so they do the gaming, and hey, they did me a favor. So I don't down people to do that, on face value. Now I think it's a case by case scenario. I mean, there are a lot of situations where the people need to get off the computer and get out, and so I'm not saying for it 100% of the time, but I'm not gonna judge somebody like right away, because I know that they helped me. I got helped by people doing that. So, and that's something to talk about. I love using the video games as an analogy for life because that's how life is. Where you know, if you're gonna stay on level one in a game, well, what are you gonna get? You know, there's only so much to do on level one, and you're not gonna get any more points. You're not gonna get stuff where you can buy better weapons and better armor and all that stuff. So you want to go to the next level. That's the whole point of the game, is to go to the next level. But yes, as each level goes, you encounter tougher enemies, but you also get better equipment. You know, so I think life is like that too. Um, as you step out and you do more and more stuff, it might be tougher. You're gonna come across bigger obstacles and have to fight more people and more mentalities, and the more you get out there, the more you're going to encounter, and it can be harder. You're going to get there, and it's going to be harder, but the rewards are better. You get better rewards too. So when you get a lot of stuff. You get memories, you meet people. I mean, there's a lot of good things that can come, but you have to take that risk. And that's kind of where I'm at right now in my life. I've been a spectator most of my life, and happy to be a spectator. I've loved being a spectator and cheering other people on as they do their thing, and encourage them to do that. And so I don't regret any of that. But it's now time for me to get out of the bleachers and down on the field, and it's time for me to be a mover and a shaker now. Um, so that's what I'm endeavoring to do. And at my age, it's crazy, but there's also a benefit to it. Also, because most of the people my age are burned out, right? Uh, and they're ready to quit because they've been out on the field all this time, and they're ready to be in the bleachers, and they're wanting to take a break, which is understandable. They should be. I mean, and then I come along, and I'm like, man, I haven't done any of this stuff. I'm ready to go. So now, um, so I have the mentality of a 20-year-old, but a body of a 50-year-old. Um, so you know, um, that's just part of my purpose. I know that's part of my purpose, and because all this is new to me, I actually did come with like a childlike perspective, because I didn't, you know, participate in all this stuff on our planet. I stayed at home in my ivory tower, you know, and so it is new. It's like seeing things for the first time, because it is, for me. It is, a lot of this stuff is new to me, and but that helps me be more joyful about it, I think. Um, but that can be also confusing, I think, for people because of my age. Or like, I think that gets confusing. Like, why am I so happy about it? Like, what? It's not a normal picture for them, which it isn't. I mean, it isn't normal. I mean, most people my age are like, yeah, I've been there, done that, you know. Um, and they probably have 100 times. And then here comes Susan. Um, I haven't done it. Never done it. Never been there. You know. Never. I haven't really talked to anybody who has. You know. So a lot of things are new. So I am on like a kid in a candy store. um, like, who? What's that? What's that? What's that? um. So, I mean, well, I mean, take me or leave me. I mean, what can I say? Um, that's the stage I'm at right now. So, and I'm taking advantage of more stuff too, stopping and smelling the roses type thing. Because, I realized I stressed out too much about stuff and I passed up on memories. There's a lot of memories I passed up on because I was so stressed out about finances and just worried about not doing it right, or it was just too much effort. I didn't want to deal with all the negative, because everything has its pros and cons. So I was focusing on the cons of stuff so much, which then kept me from doing so many things in my life. And that's one of those little regrets that I have. It's like, oh my gosh, why did I stress so much? Of course, I didn't know I was trying to process information. Okay, so that's two part of it is not knowing about the autism. So now that I know about that, I can understand about processing information properly and be able to manage that. And so now it gives me the clarity of mind to do these things versus before I was just like, just so overwhelming because it's just all this information. I didn't know that there was like thousands of pieces of information trying to get shoved into my brain at one time, and I didn't know what to do with all that. And so I had a lot of anger, dealt with a lot of anger, and which was frustration, because I was overwhelmed. So, of course, it helps having the kids are older and they can take care of themselves now, and I don't have to change diapers and give baths and all that type of stuff. So that's helpful. Not having small kids and the kids can take care of themselves. Um, so it is just part of that stage of life too, that some things in life get easier in that aspect. Of course, some of the stress gets more because now, instead of worrying about the kids just falling off their bike, you're now worried about them walking to work by themselves or walking home by themselves from work, which is what we were dealing with. Or getting in the car accident. They driving. Our oldest son drives a car, so at any time he can get in a car accident. He's been in a couple of car accidents, so it's those are you're like, oh, and you get way back when they're little, you get frustrated at them getting hurt and stuff, but you're like, now you get this stage, you're like, well, falling off a bike's a lot better than a car accident. But you want them driving a car too. You don't want them to be afraid to drive a car, just because there might be an accident. You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes with the territory. It does go with the territory. So, whatever. I mean, those are the older adult stresses, that you don't really think about. When the kids are real little and it's all about skin knees and trying to get them to eat their vegetables and take a bath and go to bed and all of this stuff, you know. And now it's like, well, can you get a job? Can you get a car? Can you drive safely, please? Uh, and I don't even know what we're gonna do when our girls start dating. Oh my gosh, they're not even doing that yet. Yeah. Oh, um, that is not gonna be fun. I don't think. This really sucks because I'm I'm the mother-in-law already, and I'm already on the hit list. Because no one who likes their mother-in-law. No one likes their mother-in-law. Hardly anybody, right? So I'm already on the bad person list, and I'm not even. Of course, I don't know. Maybe I can be one of those stereotype breakers. And I'm gonna try to be nice. Of course, I don't know how nice am I gonna be. I don't know how good of a mother-in-law am I gonna be. I don't know. I don't know. I can see it going either way. Okay, I guess good news. I don't have to deal with that right now. Um, I don't know. I guess I'm just chit chatting. Like I said, well, I was trying to give some information, like try to give some basic information, I guess, or I don't know, things that I think people might question or might be, thinking about when they're watching my videos. Um, and just try to give them some answers. Um, oh man, my hair was a mess. Still tangles, little tangles. Um, it's getting long because my hair's getting long, so it gets tangled real easy now. I should probably put in some braids or something. Um, I lost like 80% of my hair getting COVID as bad as I did. Yeah, so what, back in 22, yeah, my hair was real thin. It was coming out in chunks. I go like this, and this whole big chunk would come out. Or I brush my hair. It was just the whole brush was just covered. So yeah, you do. Some people do lose their hair. I end up cutting it real short. I hadn't had my hair that short since I was in my 20s. I had short hair in my 20s one time. But I always liked my hair long. I mean, I kind of understand going through that period. It was kind of nice not having the long hair. It was real, easy to manage. So it's like, I don't know why a lot of older ladies do that, but I don't really like that look. I like having long hair. And I actually like the gray look, but I actually don't have as much gray as I used to. I used to have more a few years ago during the middle of COVID. So all the stress that I was in, I had a lot more gray hair. And when the kids were in school, especially when they were in junior high, that stupid school was so stressful. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't go there. I will get angry talking about that school. I had a lot of gray hair back then of all the stress that school was putting us through. But I actually don't have as much gray hair that I used to. So I guess I'm not as wise as I used to be. Because there is that scripture, in Proverbs, talking about the white head as a sign of wisdom or something. Having gray hair is supposed to be a sign of wisdom. So I don't know, maybe I've lost some of my wisdom. I don't doubt that, right? I probably thrown some of it out the window in the last few years. I've become a fool. I've become a fool. I've become a fool for several things in my life lately. I have. I've become a fool for a few things in my life lately. Oh my goodness. uh, well, I had to be a rule breaker sometimes. So my wild oats. I mean, I haven't sold too many. I don't know, maybe some of my wild oats are actually other people might not even consider wild oats. I don't know. I mean, I can't go crazy at my age. And I'm not gonna screw my life over and land in jail or something. I'm not gonna be that stupid. I'm saying. And that's something I wanted to talk about is making adult decisions. You know, doing the gaming and being silly like I am. I can get some flack for that because it's immature, or um, but it's how I deal with my stress. Being silly and watching YouTube videos and gaming, playing games, even coloring can be a stress reliever, and that's full on fact. So coloring isn't just for kids. Um, and they do got those adult coloring books now. Not, it doesn't have. Sounds bad. It's adult in the sense of the pictures are detailed, and it's not just a simple, a doggy with a little boy in a park or something. You know what I'm saying? It's real detailed. The pictures are real detailed. It's like a real mosaic type pictures. So so when it says adult coloring book, it's talking about the difficulty of having to color the picture, because there's a lot of little spots. So you basically really have to color. A lot of times you have to color with those really fine markers, um, because the crayons are just too thick. Uh, or you use colored pencils, because there's a lot of little spaces to be colored. Um, but you know, um, a lot of adults make choices to deal with their stress, and it makes their situation worse. Um, you know, if you choose to drink alcohol and you're drinking way more than you should, and then you get in behind the wheel, you drive a car, I mean, you're risking hitting another car and killing somebody. Okay? And that's a very adult thing to do to deal with your stress. But it's not a good thing. So, my question is, if I do that, is that adult enough for you? Or would you rather me play a video game or color in a coloring book, or I love watching the parody songs on YouTube and sit there and watch parody songs for 3 hours and laugh my head off. So what would be better, me doing that or getting behind the wheel drunk out my head and go kill somebody? Okay, yeah, that's a very adult thing to do, but it's not good. So, I try to make better decisions when I'm dealing with my stress. Now, do I do that 100% of the time? No. There's times I make a bad decision, and yeah, I'm not handling my stress and using a good thing to cope with my stress. Um, and but you know, I try to make as many good decisions as I can, or make a better decision. There's a pastor from California that I had, that this stuck with me. He said, if you're in a bad situation, you may not be able to do anything to make it better, but you can always do something to make it worse. And that stuck with me. My all Since he said that, it stuck with me, and I've taught my kids that, that you don't want to be in a trial that is because of a decision you made a choice to do. Now, it does happen. I mean, I don't want people to get all feeling all guilty, and because we're all human and we do make bad decisions and we make our situation worse. Okay, I don't want people to get stuck in feeling a bunch of guilt because of decisions they've made. I'm just making talking points. Um, so, like the scenario of the drunk driving, you don't want to be the drunk driver. You don't want to be the one who made a choice to get behind the wheel and drive drunk. Now, what if you're the person that got hit, or your family member got hit and killed by that other person? Well, that's something you can control. So I'm not saying we want that to happen, but if you had to be somebody in that story, it'd be better to be the person being hit than the person doing the hitting, because that's something that's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? If you're just going down the street and you get hit by a drunk driver, it's not your fault. You don't want to be the drunk driver because that's your fault. And that's what I have taught our kids, is to try your best to make decisions where you're not making decisions to get you into a trial that you caused. You know what I'm saying? Now, none of the trials are fun. We don't want any of that to happen, really. But we do have to understand that they do get used for our good, and there is I'm embracing trials more, because hey, no pain, no gain. I've also been putting that into practice the last few years. Like weightlifting motto is no pain, no gain. So there is a certain amount of pain that we have to go through to become stronger. Um, and that's a hard lesson to learn. It's hard. It's a big process to get where you can be okay with the pain that is happening in the midst of your trials. Um, it's 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 a big process. You don't get there overnight, and even just in a few weeks. That takes years to get there. Um, and it's very harrowing. But those are your trophies. Those are the things that you can carry with you, and you can pull them out, and those are your cards. You know what I'm saying? When you encounter things, those are your trump cards. Those are your trump cards, right? Those are your that you can use to win the battles, and there's value in those. I've seen the value now in the last few years of what going through all this stuff that I've gone through in my life has gotten me, because now uh, there's a certain level of I can't be touched. It's I always think of um, like celebrities and like high up politicians and stuff, and CEOs of companies, and those type of people. They want to present themselves as, oh, you know who I am. Like they have that into, well, do you know who I am? And it's like, for me, it's like, what if I did? Who cares? And they have to understand that my mentality is, um, when our babies were in the NICU, they weren't there. They did not come and help walk me through that. So, who are they to speak into my life? Now, I'm not saying they can't, but I can allow them to speak into my life, but their status of whatever they think is status in their mind does not automatically qualify them to speak into my life. Um, they weren't there to walk me through all these valleys. I've been through hell and back several times, and none of these people were there for that. So, if you think you're just going to step into my life and start speaking things, it doesn't work that way when you're going to use status. Now, shoot, I go down to some third world country in South America or wherever and talk to some old person who's lived, and they want to talk to me, man, I would be listening to that person. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been through it. I know they've been through it. But if you're gonna be from like some celebrity status, like that mentality, you're gonna have to prove what kind of uh, what you've been through. Because I mean, some of those people have actually paid their dues too. So I'm not saying that just because you're a celebrity that you can't speak into my life and you don't have any say of anything to anybody. But your status isn't what makes it you have that. What dues have you paid? And we all have our choice of what we think is an acceptable due. I mean, that's just fact. Um, and each person has to decide that for themselves when from both directions. Um, so if you think you've paid your dues, you well, if that's what you think, then live that way. Be confident and live that way. But other people may not think the dues that you have paid mean anything to them. And that's their choice. You have to give them that freedom to be able to say that too. So, that's can be a kind of a frustrating, I guess, dynamic when you're a person saying, "Hey, I paid my dues," and the other person saying, "Well, dues you paid mean nothing to me." I mean, that's not easy to take. Um, and they might be right, and they may not be. They might be wrong. So you have to be confident in yourself, regardless of what other people, um, what value they're putting. But you also need to assess yourself frequently that maybe they have a point. Maybe they're right that some of the dues what you think you paid in dues, it, you didn't. I mean, um, I think there are things that we do in life that we think we're paying our dues, and it's like, yeah, if you're four, you know, and not for a 20, 30, 40, 50 year old, it just depends, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I think that's too some of what people are saying about me. Um, they don't think I paid my dues, or they don't want to accept the dues I paid. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's their prerogative. They have the choice to do that. They have the freedom to do that. It doesn't bother me. But I'm going to function and act and behave based on what I'm believing about myself. Um, so if that's not getting the result that you're wanting, then you're either going to have to change your expectations, or you're going to have to talk to me and see if maybe I'm willing to change something. And I might be. You never know. I mean, you got to converse. You know what I'm saying? You got to talk to people, and but everybody needs to be flexible and give everybody freedom to to choose for themselves whether they're going to change in whatever area or not. And some people just aren't going to make the decisions that you would like them to make. Um, and that's just life. You can't please everybody, and it's okay. It's okay not to please some people on the planet, especially with the numbers we have now. So, um, if you can please, I don't know, half a dozen people, maybe. I guess that's a good goal. I don't know. I don't know how many. What would be my number? I think, well, other than the Lord Jesus Christ, but if we're talking about just humans, probably just one. If I could just please one person. I mean, that is my endeavor in like my blog and my YouTube channel and stuff, and you know, um, that was my goal as my definition of being success was if I could help one person. So my blog, man, that I accomplished that years ago. So everybody else from here on out, from that time on, is just bonus. So for me, that's more of a motivation. Is like, wow, look at all this bonus I'm getting. And the same with the YouTube channel. If I can just help one person, then everybody else after that is bonus. And I'd rather have a lot of bonus points, I guess, if we want to call them that. I mean, it just feels better for me to think that, man, I'm getting extra. I mean, and it's only extra because that's the way I'm thinking. I mean, that is a fact. I mean, I'm choosing to think that way. So everything is extra just because I'm believing it is. But that is the joy of being able to choose what we want to believe or not believe. That's our God given right. And I mean, why not take advantage of that? I can believe whatever I want to believe or not believe. Um, Now, yeah, there's consequences to believing some things, and you got to own that. And if you don't want to deal with the outcome of you believing this or that or the other, then yeah, maybe you got to change what you're believing. Um, but sky's the limit. I'm really trying to live that out, now. Um, and it's fun, I guess. I mean, it's not every day, because you encounter a lot of obstacles. So, in trying to make it to the sky, you're hitting a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in between here and the top of the sky. You have to learn to navigate that. Okay, let's see what we're at. Over an hour, I think. Let me get my glasses on. Yeah, minute 7, going on a minute 8, or not a minute, an hour and 8 minutes almost. So I mean, I probably should wrap this up. An hour is probably around an hour is a good video. It's gonna take forever to upload it. Oh my gosh, it takes a long time to upload these videos. Anything past 15 minutes, I think. So I'll do that as soon as I get the band is over. As soon as I can start uploading again, I'll upload this video and get it posted. So for the third time, if you have any questions, comments, or complaints, there's the comment section down below. And let's get a conversation going. I'm started. It's now the ball's in your court. So y'all need to start leaving some comments and get involved with the conversation. So let's see. It's probably after midnight. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it's after midnight, so it's Thursday here. So I don't know. Is it Friday anywhere on the planet yet? Maybe. So, well, happy Thursday or Friday, wherever you're at. And I'll catch you next time.